People love talking about the first $1,000. Some say $10,000 is the big milestone, but almost nobody talks about what happens after $20,000. Because $20,000 isn't just more money, it's the point where life stops feeling fragile and starts feeling flexible. Your decisions change, your confidence changes, and most importantly, your opportunities start multiplying. Here's why everything changes even more after $20,000. Setup. The pre versus post. $20,000 mindset. Before $20,000, money feels temporary. You're constantly calculating. Can I afford this? What if something goes wrong? One unexpected expense can knock you off track. So most of your energy goes into maintaining stability, not building growth. But once you cross $20,000 in savings, business income, or available capital, something changes mentally. You stop waking up in reaction mode and start operating in decision mode. Instead of asking, "How do I survive this month?" you start asking, "How do I improve the next year?" Shift number 1, you start buying time. One of the biggest changes after $20,000 is that you stop using money just to survive and start using it to buy back your time. Before this point, most of your money goes toward maintenance, bills, food, transportation, fixing problems as they come up. Every dollar already has a job. But once you have a financial cushion, you gain a new option. You can spend money to remove low-value tasks from your life. Maybe you pay for software that automates work that used to take hours. Maybe you outsource small tasks that drain your energy. But maybe you invest in learning from someone who helps you avoid months of trial and error. None of these purchases are flashy. They don't look impressive on social media, but they quietly give you back the one thing you can never earn more of: time. And here's the shift. When you buy things, money disappears. When you buy time, money gets a chance to multiply. Because every free hour can now be used to build skills, create assets, strengthen relationships, or make better decisions. The kinds of activities that actually increase your income long term. That's when money stops being just a safety net and starts becoming a growth tool. Shift number 2, risk becomes calculated, not scary. Another major change after $20,000 is how you see risk. Before that point, risk feels threatening. Trying something new can feel irresponsible because one mistake might put you right back into financial stress. So you play it safe. You delay ideas. You hesitate. Not because you lack ambition, but because you lack a cushion. But once you have $20,000 behind you, risk doesn't disappear. It becomes manageable. Now you can invest in a course to learn a high-income skill without worrying about next month's bills. You can test a business idea without betting your entire stability. You can make moves based on potential upside, not just fear of loss. That financial buffer creates emotional stability, and emotional stability leads to better decision-making. You stop asking, "What if this fails and ruins everything?" and start asking, "What if this works and changes everything?" That shift from fear-based decisions to opportunity-based decisions is where real growth begins. Because most breakthroughs don't come from playing it safe. They come from taking smart, calculated risks consistently. Shift number 3, your thinking gets longer. Another big change after $20,000 is your time horizon. Before this point, most of your thinking is short-term. You're focused on getting through the week, the month, the next expense. Your financial decisions are about immediate relief, not long-term growth. But once you pass $20,000, your mindset starts to stretch. You begin thinking in quarters instead of paychecks, in years instead of weeks. Instead of asking, "How fast can I make money?" you start asking, "How can I build something that keeps paying me?" That's when your focus shifts from quick cash to lasting value. Examples you can say naturally. You start investing instead of only saving. You build skills that might not pay off instantly but have huge upside later. You think about assets, things that grow or produce income, instead of liabilities that only cost you money. Short-term thinking keeps you busy. Long-term thinking makes you wealthy. And $20,000 is often the point where you finally have enough breathing room to think beyond survival and start designing your future. Shift number 4, Opportunities treat you differently. One of the most surprising changes after $20,000 is how opportunities start to feel closer. Before this point, a lot of opportunities technically exist, but they're out of reach. You might see a course, an event, a business idea, a trip, or a collaboration, but you can't move on it because the money just isn't there. After $20,000, that barrier starts to disappear. You can join rooms you couldn't access before. You can invest in partnerships instead of only working alone. You can say yes faster without scrambling to figure out how to afford it. And that speed matters, because many of the best opportunities in life don't wait around forever. Money creates optionality, the ability to choose, and the more choices you have, the more leverage you gain. Instead of life happening to you, you start positioning yourself where good things are more likely to happen. That might mean moving to a better environment, attending events where the right people are, or putting money into projects that open new doors. You're no longer stuck asking, "Can I afford this?" You start asking, "Is this aligned with where I want to go?" And that shift from limitation to selection is a major level up. Shift number 5. Stress changes levels. Here's something people don't talk about enough. Money doesn't remove stress, it changes the type of stress you experience. Before $20,000, most of your stress is survival-based. You're thinking about bills, groceries, rent, fuel, unexpected expenses, emergencies, and whether one bad month could undo all your progress. That kind of stress feels heavy because it's tied to security. It's not just uncomfortable. It feels threatening. You're not just managing money. You're managing risk every single day. Even when things are going fine, there's a quiet tension in the background because you know there isn't much room for error. One surprise expense can push you back to zero, and that constant awareness keeps your mind in defensive mode. But after you cross $20,000, something shifts internally. Life doesn't become perfect and problems don't disappear, but you gain breathing room. You gain margin. That survival pressure starts to ease because now an unexpected expense doesn't automatically mean crisis. You still experience stress, but it becomes strategic instead of survival-driven. Instead of asking, "How do I make it through this month?" you start asking, "How do I grow this wisely? Where should I invest my time and energy? What's the smartest next move?" Those questions can still feel challenging, but they come from a place of stability, not fear. You move from worrying about protection to thinking about optimization. And that shift changes everything. Your mental energy is no longer consumed by staying afloat. It's redirected toward moving ahead. You start thinking about leverage, planning, positioning, and growth. Strategy stress replaces survival stress, and strategy stress is actually a sign that you've leveled up. It means you're no longer fighting to stay safe. You're building to get stronger. The first $20,000 changes your situation, but the decisions you make after that change your direction. Because once you have capital, growth isn't only about working harder. It becomes about using money, time, and leverage intelligently. And that's the point where wealth stops being a dream and starts becoming a system. $20,000 isn't the finish line. It's where the real game begins.